A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a high-stakes election that has captured the attention of the nation, Canadian political leaders campaigned vigorously in battleground districts on Saturday, just 2 days before voters head to the polls. The election has been electrified by U.S. President Donald Trump's aggressive trade policies and threats, with Prime Minister Mark Carney emerging as a favored candidate after assuring Canadians that he can effectively stand up to Washington. The stakes are high, as a victory for Carney's Liberal Party would represent one of the most remarkable turnarounds in Canadian political history. Just months ago, on January 6th, when former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation, the Liberals were trailing the Conservatives by over 20 points in most polls. With Tory leader Pierre Poilievre seemingly poised to take over as Canada's next leader. However, the political landscape shifted dramatically following Trump's imposition of stiff tariffs and his controversial remarks about potentially absorbing Canada into the United States. This has sparked outrage among Canadians, leading to public displays of dissent, such as booing the American national anthem at sporting events and canceling travel plans to the U.S. When Carney took the helm of the Liberal Party on March 14th, he framed his campaign around the threats posed by Trump, stating, "The United States wants to break us so they can own us." Drawing on his extensive experience as a central banker in both Canada and Britain, Carney has positioned himself as the ideal candidate to defend Canadian interests against Trump's unpredictable trade policies. President Trump's tariffs are a direct attack on Canadians and on Canada itself, Carney asserted during his campaign stops on Saturday. He has been actively campaigning in Ontario, making several stops in communities that have historically swung between Liberal and Conservative parties. His day concluded with a rally in Windsor, a city that has been significantly impacted by U.S. tariffs on the Canadian auto industry. The influence of Trump's rhetoric and the leadership change from Trudeau to Carney has put pressure on Poilievre, a seasoned politician with 2 decades of experience in Parliament. Despite this, Poilievre has sought to redirect the conversation towards the issues that fueled discontent with the Liberals during Trudeau's long tenure, particularly the rising cost of living. While campaigning in Vancouver, he framed the election as a choice between more reckless debt and soaring costs with Mark Carney, or a Conservative government that will cut taxes, build a strong economy, and bring home lower prices. Although Poilievre has also criticized Trump, he has attributed Canada's vulnerability to U.S. protectionism to the Liberals' poor economic performance. Polls indicate a potential Liberal victory, but the race has tightened as Election Day approaches. The CBC's poll aggregator recently reported Liberal support at 42.5%, with the Conservatives trailing at 38.7%. A significant factor that could bolster the Liberals is the declining support for left-wing parties such as the New Democrats and the separatist Bloc Québécois, which have historically siphoned votes away from the Liberals in critical provinces like British Columbia, Ontario, and Quebec. Early voting numbers have also surged, with a record 7.3 million of Canada's 28.9 million eligible voters casting their ballots ahead of Election Day, marking a 25% increase compared to the last election in 2021. Voter sentiments reflect a heightened awareness of the implications of U.S. politics on Canadian governance. Montreal voter Natalie Tremblay expressed that this election feels definitely more important than previous ones due to the current political climate in the United States. Others, like Simon Pierre Lepine, voiced concerns over the potential for 10 more years of backtracking under the Liberals, criticizing them for plunging the nation into a financial crisis. Political analysts have noted that Conservative attempts to shift the campaign narrative away from Trump have largely been ineffective. Tim Powers remarked that the campaign has been strange and full of surprises, not aligning with the Tories' expectations. They had hoped for a more focused debate on affordability and issues where they believed they could capitalize on Liberal weaknesses. As the election draws near, the final outcome remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the influence of Donald Trump looms large over this Canadian election, and the results could reshape the political landscape for years to come. The winner of this pivotal election will be known just hours after the polls close on Monday, marking a significant moment in Canadian political history. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.